So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you for coming onto the channel. As always, we're going to be starting off with the match stats. So for this game, we had 59% possession overall. It was a very strong performance from our side. We had 14 shots in total. The opposition only had 2. You know, we did have a red card towards the latter end of the game, but still, we dominated the entire game. By then, we already won. But we just wanted to keep the clean sheet, hence why the desperation to get the red card from one of our team players. You know, I was playing alongside another centre-back, Andy. He's not really a centre-back, he's usually our centre-forward or winger, but of course we had a lot of other trialists playing in other positions, so we wanted to give him, let's say, a centre-back role just for this match, and he played really well. You know, overall he had an 8.3 match rating. I ended up with an 8.4 match rating. With my stats, I had 8 possession ones and 2 lost. I didn't make a tackle in the game, 0 tackles. It was just more about my positioning. Andy was more of the guy that was making the tackles. He had 4 tackles in total. 5 tackles in total at 40%. He had 9 possession ones and then 5 lost. So generally a great partnership. You know, I don't mind him being as a centre-back, but he is better as a striker or even as a midfielder. But you know, I do appreciate him coming back at the just coming back at centre-back and taking that position while we were trialling out other players. And you know, the other team did have quite a number of players as well on their side, human players. But overall, it was a strong game from our side, you know, but they only had 2 shots. So, you know, very great performance from our side. The boys were playing very well. Passing was, majority of the times, on point. You know, I did make a little positional boo-boo at one point where I thought, oh, God, they've scored. I was just, I don't know, on my phone, man. I just got a bit bored. So, my positioning was slightly wrong. So, apologies to that, boys. But no, a great performance. Hope you guys enjoy the video. And again, what we're going to be talking about today is just mainly around the Nations League. You know, we had the matches yesterday, such as like Austria versus Denmark. You had Croatia versus France as well. In my yesterday's video, in fact, I did predict or give my prediction for both matches. So my prediction for yesterday's match for Austria versus Denmark, I said both teams were to score and Denmark to win. And I did say 2-1 to Denmark as a, let's say, prediction. And I got that correct. So, you know, GG's to me, GG. And then we got Croatia versus France, where I predicted both teams to score, which was correct. But then I thought France were going to win, and I said around 3-1. But again, I did not expect France to make so many first-team changes. You know, they had a completely different team compared to like the one that they started off with. I actually thought it was going to be 3-1 because of you know, them losing the first game to Austria 3-0. I thought that, you know, they'll, you know, do something with their lineup or just change slightly accordingly, but maybe they're resting it, you know, just depending on how the season went. Of course, the seasons were, you know, massive, and this time it should have been like the World Cup should have been starting, but now we've got the Nations League instead. So, you know, a lot of players have mentioned previously, such as De Bruyne, about the congestion of the fixtures straight after as well. The season has just finished of the Premier League and whatnot. So, no, maybe they were resting it, I just don't know. But, you know, they didn't do, from the stats that, or the, you know, the games that I was looking at, you know, it was a okayish game. You know, Ben Yedder did score for France, and then, you know, Croatia's got let's say they've got a team that, you know, they always do well, regardless, even if they're playing an A or B team of the opposition. You know, the table that France is in is technically not a group of death, such as like the one that Germany, Italy, England, and Hungary are within. Because you've got like world-class teams, let's say, in fact, such as Germany, Italy, as well as England, let's say, are within the bracket. But then you've got the table such as France, for example, where you've got Croatia, you've got Austria, and then you've also got Denmark, who technically aren't considered a good team, but they always do well. You know, Denmark did very well. They got to the semis just recently. Austria has always been one of those like boogie teams as such. And then Croatia, they've always done well over the past seasons now, just with the team that they've got. And you could also consider Switzerland in this let's say, bracket of teams as well, where they're not ranked as a great team as such, but they always play with their hearts. And, you know, I'm glad that France is now getting a battering and they're getting told off, because I had them down as being second, let's say, favourites for the Nations League. My top favourite is, let's say, Netherlands. I do think that they're going to win. Germany is my team, and I do hope that they, you know, progress very well within this Nations League. But I don't know, I think it's going to be a tough one, especially as they are in the group of death, as just mentioned. You know, they got England playing against Germany today, which I'm looking forward to. You know, I'm going to give my, you know, tactical formations and my predictions again for this one. You know, with England just coming up with a loss against Hungary. You know, main man Reece James, who got subbed on for big boy, you know, Trent. You know, Trent is always the best option for England, but he's had so many runner games, you know, man is exhausted. I wasn't really expecting him to start against Hungary. You know, Hungary, they're one of those, again, boogie teams that they do well in a international, or let's say, was it tournament as such. So, no, I'm glad that Hungary did win that game. You know, England were unfortunate. Again, as mentioned in my previous video, I don't know why Harry Kane plays out of position as such. You know, he plays very deep, or even on the wings for some stupid reason instead of as a centre forward. He will be so good as a centre forward for England, and then everyone pinning the ball up to him. And he's already in a position where he could either shoot, or he could like run a bit and then dribble, for example, and then shoot. But in his case with England, for example, I don't know why. Again, they've done it with Roy Hodgson, and now Southgate's doing it as well, where he's playing very deep, and then he's using the wingers as strikers or inverted forwards to go through, which doesn't work out. So I'm glad that's not working out for England as such. They could be scoring so much goals, especially with the talent that they have with this current England squad. You know, you got the likes of Bellingham, you got Foden, who unfortunately is out with COVID or whatever, malarkey. But you know, he's a fantastic player. He reminds you of like Messi in his youthful days. His dribbling is absolutely insane, and his vision as well. So a great player, very similar to like Iniesta, let's say. So the prediction I'm thinking for Germany versus England, again, Germany are playing at home. You know, the last 10 games overall, Germany have had like 8 wins and 2 draws in the last 10 games, but then the last 2 draws being against like Netherlands as well as Italy. And then the wins weren't really, let's say, big teams as such, similar to like England when they've come through to like their last previous games have always been against like crappy teams as well. So, you know, it's going to be a tough one this game. I do feel both teams will score. You know, I think England will be like persistent on doing well, especially with the 1-0 loss in this group of death. Germany, they drew, and of course they need to ensure, you know, they have a result as much as they can within each of the games that they are playing. So I do feel that it will be a both teams to score again. I do feel Germany will nick it. I do see a beating around like 3-1 to Germany. I think Germany again have a team that they're gonna, I think, you know, the way that they played against Italy, it wasn't too bad. They were dominating against Italy, you know, in the first as well as second half. Italy did come back in the second half slightly, but Germany overall were having the better positions, but their shots were just off par, man. Like, if you ever watch the highlights for that game, Italy versus Germany, you'll see that Germany had some really good, like, possession football as well as positional play as well. But then they were just shooting above the bar every single time, and we were fortunate for Kimmich to actually score back let's say right away. It was very quick that he bounced back and he was in the box and for us to score. So no, I think, you know, Germany will go for the same lineup that they did with Italy. They rarely make a lot of changes. You know, we had the likes of Neuer in goal. We've got Henrichs, we've got Rudiger, Schürrle, as well as Kehrer. Kehrer plays for PSG, really good wing back as such. So I think they're going to keep that lineup against England. You know, the way that England tend to play has always been quite defensive. They always go for like the 5 or let's say the 3 at the back, and then they've got the wing backs as well. So I think Kehrer and Kimmich can match that pace and, you know, do something for them. And you got Kimmich and Goretzka as the centre mids, who I feel are a great partnership, especially how they're playing, you know, within Bayern. And you got Muller just up front playing as a cam, or a shadow striker as I call it, you know, within the Football Manager scenes. And then the front 3, you got Werner, Sane and Gnabry. So I honestly don't feel that Germany will change as much. Of course, with the subs, they'll bring on Musiala, you know, and other people as well. But at the moment, I think this is a good lineup. Potentially, we might see Gundogan instead of Goretzka, but I don't know. I think he's going to keep the same lineup against how it was against Italy. Now, for England, I think there's going to be a slight change within less of the lineups. So within goal, we got Pickford still. I do feel that instead of Trent, he's going to be playing James. As mentioned, I don't think Trent had a great game. You know, his defensive positioning is never on point because of how much of a high line he plays with Liverpool. So with England, yes, you know, he's got like Walker to fall back to with the 3 at the back. But again, he just needs to run back as much as he can as well. But again, man is tired, man. He's had over 60 games he's played. You know, so many finals and competition has been so tough till the last point against Man City, 1 point. You got Real Madrid as well, where we lost that in the final. So overall, it's been a tough season for Trent. So I do see James playing as a right winger, and then you got Walker just behind him as a centre back. You got Jones instead of Maguire. I do feel that Jones would be a better option for England. And then you got Connor Cody, who had a fantastic game alongside Bowen as well against Hungary. And then on the left you got Justin for Leicester. So that's what I think will be the 5 at the back. And then I think he's going to go for more of a, let's say, a partnered approach within experience. So you've got a Rice, Declan Rice, as well as Phillips. That will be like centre mid or centre defensive midfielders. And then on the wing, you got the likes of, I think Sterling will be playing for sure. I do feel Kane and then Bowen as well. So that's the prediction I have for the lineups. And again, both teams to score, but Germany to win. But yeah, let's see. I think it's going to be really, really like interesting overall. You know, they've always had a knack for each other. You know, it's always been very competitive. You know, the last head-to-heads overall, since they've always competed, it's all, you know, the case has been Germany's won 15 times against England and England's won 17 times. So England do have the upper hand on this occasion, but you know, Germany, I do feel that they're going to try bouncing back, especially at home against England. And again, it's they've got that rivalry for so long, so I don't see it being a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be quite end-to-end. So I do see it being like over 2.5 for sure goals. It's going to be 3-1. Fingers crossed to Germany, but for sure I do feel it will be both teams to score. But yeah, you know, I think, you know, generally, as mentioned, the group of death is that one. France, they should be doing better, but you know, they got the games coming up again, the 3 final games as such in September. You know, they got 1 more game left within this group. Who is going to be against? Is going to be Denmark. Very, very tough game, as mentioned. Denmark, don't mess around, man. Denmark are at the top of the table now, happily. And it's good to see them, especially with Eriksen as well, back in the fold within the international scene. But no, and I think that's it for the Nations League. I'll give my predictional, you know, stats tomorrow as well for the other games. But I think the key one today has to be Germany versus England. And then just some transfers as well, just to finalise this video. So we've got like Calvin Ramsey, the right back, who's 18 years old for Aberdeen. He's looking at being signed by Liverpool, who is, let's say, the main priority that they're going for as a right back. I do see Nico Williams leaving Liverpool. You know, he's playing fantastically for Wales, and he's at that age now as well where he needs to move on. You know, Trent's not going to get pipped anytime now. You know, I think with the 18-year-old Calvin Ramsey joining up, I think that'll be a good purchase for Liverpool for the youth type of buy. And again, him learning from Trent will be fantastic mentorship as well. So I think that'll be a good purchase for Liverpool. But then again, I do see, let's say, Trent moving over to more like a defensive midfielder position, especially how he's been transitioning with Liverpool over the past games. He's been, instead of playing as a wing back, he's been more going as a central defensive midfielder. He's just been going more as a centre, let's say mid when he's been attacking, but of course defensively he's been going back to the right back position. So no, I think that'll be a good purchase for Liverpool. And then finally ending off with Lewandowski, I do see him going to Barcelona. You know, he does want to leave with Bayern. I just read just now that, you know, he's had fantastic 8 years. You know, the respect that he's had for the fans and the club in general has been great. But, you know, it's his time to move on. And he's at that age now where he's around, I think, 33. You know, he's in his prime still. So I think that'll be a good buy for Barcelona. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the video. I do appreciate you guys listening to this blabber as always. You know, thank you so much to everyone that's watching this channel. And, you know, those that are new, please do feel free to subscribe and like and comment as always. Those that are oldies, thank you so much again for your support. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video. And yeah, we'll see you soon. And yeah, good luck to Germany. Let's do this. Peace and hair grease. Bye-bye.